This is John Walton, and you're listening to the PowerPlay Point podcast with the blue liner on point and Anna Knox. Here's Wilson, and on the right side, he scores!
Rebound loose, wild scramble in front, score! Ovechkin with a buzzer beater! It'll count!
And the hat trick tonight, number 21,
Spectacular! Braden Holtby!
Hello, welcome, Caps fans, to another edition of the PowerPlay Point podcast. It is Sunday, October the 26th in the year 2025 on this planet we call Earth. And it was another 4 games that we're going to cover. And the we this week is 2 people. So this week we have back from a 1 week's worth of busyness. C4, Cheryla and Forster, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing quite well, thank you so much.
Okay, and of course, along for the ride as well, with her pencil sharpened and everything else sharpened, I'm sure. Miss Gin-dependent Jini Clausen, how are you tonight?
I am good.
Okay, ready to dissect a crazy week for our Capitals?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Let's
for
dig in.
sure.
Yeah. Before we do, however, recent events have to be taken into account. Those being, what's happened in the last 12 hours. So, okay, we kind of have to get this out of the way. We have to say something about it since it's major Caps news. But I want to preface this by saying, including my 2 wonderful co-hosts, the rest of you in Caps fandom are free to make whatever judgment you wish in this matter. Me, I am not here to serve as judge, jury, or executioner. I'm just here to dispense the facts and dispense my sole opinion that, the team and Monumental Sports has to do what's in their best interests here, and the end result was indeed that, and I myself will leave it at that. So here's the situation. What we're talking about is, now former defensive coach Mitch Love. So it was brought to light before the season began that the league was alerted by as yet to be identified woman that Mitch Love apparently had a previous relationship with, that there was some wrongdoings, and we now know those wrongdoings allude to domestic abuse. So that is the transgression that is at play here. The NHL began its investigation. They concluded their investigation this morning and laid down a suspension for Mitch Love that would last through the remainder of this entire season. Several hours later, the team announced that Mitch Love had been relieved of his duties. He is no longer the defense coach, no longer employed by the team in any capacity at this time. As far as I know, Patrick Wellar, who was called up from Hershey, is now going to run the defense for the foreseeable future. Of course, if that changes, I'm sure there's going to be an announcement, but that is that. So we haven't said much, if anything, on this situation, but that has closed what has been a not so fun chapter this year. I don't know how much of a distraction it was or a black mark, but it's over and done with. And once again, I will close with my opinion that Monumental Sports and Entertainment has done what they have done in their own best interests, and I don't blame them one bit, and I'm going to end it with that. Ladies, you are free to put out your opinions here, each for a couple of minutes, whatever you thought of this whole mess. But that's my piece.
I think that they've handled it as best they can under the circumstances. I mean, you don't want to see this situation anywhere. And I saw somewhere, I think it was in one of the chats, somebody said that if he had come clean, there may have been handled differently. But quite honestly, you don't want someone like that in your organization. Yeah, it's all alleged, and then, if he's innocent until proven guilty, but I think it's been handled appropriately.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, obviously, we don't have a ton of information, and I think it's a little weird that no, you know, law enforcement was involved as far as we have heard, but we just might not know all the details. But I'm glad that we are proactive and an organization that does not take those things lightly.
Right. So it's for my part. So yes, it's a little murky whether or not some of the details, and I think that's by design.
Yeah,
We're not
Mhm.
privy to every last little thing that goes on in an investigation, um, and we certainly don't know, and don't need to know, frankly, the gory details. But the when, the what is bad enough, but the when just adds another element to it. There's always going to be those Caps haters that are going to say, well, the team was complicit somehow, and every last little crumb of information that I've looked at in this whole mess when this whole mess began
Mhm.
basically proved that the team and the organization had no idea that this had even happened. And this apparently had happened, as far as I know, unless I'm reading something wrong, before Mitch Love was even hired by the team.
That's what
So,
I've read and seen as well. So,
yeah,
which is why I think that comment came up, that if it had come up before in the hiring process, it may have been handled differently. But again, and this is what people tend to forget, we don't have all the information.
yep,
We're not going to have all the information. They're handling it internally. Law enforcement may be involved. We don't know. It does
right,
to us at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, at least to me. All those finer details, all I need to know is the team is handling the situation in the best way that they can. And I think they are. And what happens after that is, up to, law enforcement or the judge and jury or whatever. It's not up to us what ultimately happens to him at
right.
the end of
And
the
it,
day.
yeah. And
agreed.
yeah, don't want to spend too much more time, but, you know, it, I think you said it all there, Cheryl. Whatever happens afterwards, the true end result, the legal end result of all this, I think either way, the Caps did the right thing in uninvolving themselves, and I think they're an unwilling participant in all of this by employing him, and they've corrected that part of it. But if anybody out there says that they were hiding information, that is complete and total bullshit. It wasn't. They were unknowing this whole time. So I want to clear that up. I am here to defend my team and what they do, not one particular person and their actions. That's up to the legal system to do whatever it is they're going to do. But it sounds bad. It looks bad in a sense. I get that, but all we can do is wash our hands of this and move on, and that's what I'm going to do.
Exactly. All
No,
we need to know is he was accused of abuse, and um, it came up out of seemingly nowhere, and the Caps have taken care of it. They've released him from his contract and separated themselves from it. That's all we need to know. We don't need to know anything else. It
and
doesn't
that
matter.
yep, that's the end of it. That's the way it should be. So for my mind, the matter is closed, and we're not going to discuss it any further, at least not here. Anybody
Right.
else wants to talk about it, fine. You're perfectly fine wasting whatever forum you can find, but this is the end of it as far as we're concerned.
Agreed.
Now, that all behind us, we got 4 games to cover. When we last left you, it was a Saturday that we were recording, Jini and I, and there were 4 games to be played. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 of them at home, and a quick jaunt over to Ohio for a tilt against the Blue Jackets. So the Caps were 4 out of the 4 games, 2-2. And yeah, to say it was a crazy week, I think it was an understatement. We're going to start in chronological order, of course. The first game was this past Sunday, the 19th, and it was yet another matinee, and it was yet another bugaboo for our Caps. Boy, afternoon games, just what is it with them? But you just never know. It's not like they were coming off a back-to-back, so I'm not really sure what happened here. But basically, and I'm gonna save time here. Basically, by the end of the third period, the Caps found themselves in a 3-0 hole. Yeah, just they looked completely out of it. I don't know how else to describe it, but it was absolutely a horror to watch. Pedersen, Myers, and Kiefer Sherwood were the ones who scored, and then second period starts 4:54. Canucks would get another goal. Vancouver's Teddy Bluger. Bluger, that's what you get when a Smurf blows his nose, by the way. Gets his first of the season and makes it 4-0 Canucks, 4:54 in. And yeah, you were nailing in the coffin at that point. And then Ryan Leonard, the Caps got a power play middle of the period. Ryan Leonard with his second, absolute. Well, it wasn't pretty, but it did the trick. He had to take 2 whacks at it, but Wilson and Strome got him the puck, and he whacks it in to avoid the shutout at 13:42. That ended the scoring
Which
there.
is exactly why he should be on the power play.
Yeah, well, that's
which is another discussion.
Another discussion, if we have time. On to the third period. 9:01 in. Jacob Chikrin with his second of the year pulls the Caps within 2. LaPierre, his first point of the year. Sandin, the other assist, pulls them within 2. And then 8 minutes later, over 8.5 minutes later, John Carlson, a blast from the point. Strome and Wilson, the assist on that one. And the comeback was on, but it ended up being not enough and way too late. That's how the score would end. Here are the vitals. 31 shots on goal for the Caps, 24 for Vancouver. Face-off overall, Caps would win out just under 55%. Power play was 1 for 4. Hits were fairly even. The shots on goal, well, again, and this is something I like to point out. It ramped up. If you can tell, just look at the shots per period, 7, 12, and then 12 for a total of for the 31 that ended up on the Caps ledger. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about here. Just very slow start. Didn't need to be a slow start, but it was. And then they decided about halfway through to start playing. Who wants to jump in and offer what they saw?
I just thought it was Go ahead, Jenny. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say it was just brutal because had there been any effort in the first period, we would have won that game. But they slept through the first period. And I mean, at the very least, unlike last night, at the very least, they made it a game. Like the third period was exciting. At least there was like a chance, but they just need to get going faster. There's no excuse to sleep through a third of the game.
Yeah.
Very true.
Well, we'll get to it a little later, but this kind of almost reminded me a little bit of the game last night, although there was in terms of, I mean, the scoring differential, the scoring was different in terms of who scored when, but in terms of energy and whatever, it was much more energetic in the at last half of the second and the third period, and then on into overtime. Hershey hadn't, but yeah, I mean, it's we've been through this before though. We get these games where we just sleep through the first period, then we get going, and it's just too little, too late, and it just drives me bananas when they do that. But I tell you, it was really good to see Leonard out there, or getting what he needed, getting the opportunity to do what he did and do what he can do. Chikrin, of course, is always Mr. Reliable, and Carly actually scoring and doing something good. So, I mean, all in all, I don't think it was. The last half wasn't a horrible game. The first half, like you said, Jini, they slept through it, and you're right. We probably would have won this game if there'd been a little more energy.
Yeah. Or
All in all, it
even
wasn't.
or even if that, because if I'm remembering correctly, we challenged the second goal, which gave them a power play. Then they scored goal
Oh,
3 on the power
right.
play.
Yes.
So we are now,
yes.
every time we challenge, it goes against
That's
us.
right.
Hold
That's
that thought.
right.
Hold that
Right.
thought.
Yeah.
That's something else that will be discussed at length as we go on. Trust me. But yeah, that there was an element to that probably
Yeah, that would have been a totally different game.
deepened the hole, as it were.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing I have to, like, everyone flipping out about Willie's hit on
Heedle.
Heedle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, had it been anyone but Tom, no one would have thought twice about it.
Of course
Exactly.
They reviewed it. They determined it was legal. They did the right thing, calling for a major so they would have time to review.
Right.
And that's it. Like, I'm so sick of seeing that pop up everywhere online, and the Tom Wilson's a goon, blah 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 blah. I'm like, it drives me nuts. That narrative drives me nuts.
I'm going to call a certain group of fans out. These are the people that are obviously okay. So Vancouver fans, sure, you see one of your own going down. Of course, okay, you kind of have a right to, spew whatever venom you want to spew at that point based on emotion. Fine, not giving you a pass because you're wrong still, but
Yeah.
in the heat of the moment, okay, it's your team, your guy on the line. But the group of fans that are dragging this narrative out when they absolutely have zero part in this are Rangers fans. And it's further proof that New York Rangers fans still have Tom Wilson in their head rent free.
Rangers? Oh my God.
Yeah. All you had to do was go on any port of social media, any program, any app, mainly Twitter, but a lot of other places, and you would see Ranger fans spewing their venom. Oh my God, how could he do this? How could they let him get away with this? And they think they have skin in the game because Heedle's an ex-Ranger. And Philip Heedle is at risk because he's had something like 3 or 4 concussions.
Yeah, I was actually next to a Vancouver fan at that game, and of course when the hit happened, she was like freaked out, and then she watched the replay. She's like, "Okay, no, I can admit that was a totally legal hit." She goes, "I can just tell you all the Canucks fans are freaking out because he is so concussion prone." And she's like, "He just came back." I'm like, and that's, that's a valid concern, but you know what? If you are concussion prone, that's even more reason to have your head up
at the skates
and not, don't admire your past. How often do we hear that?
Right. And it has come to the point where this has happened so much where the league has decided, okay, the player absorbing the hit bears a certain amount of responsibility.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear, oh, it was this amount late. There were idiots out there trying to manipulate photos and video replays. No. No,
Well,
we know
all
what
these
really
people
happened.
watch the slow motion replay and they go, he hit him 3 seconds late. I'm like, if
No,
you watch that
No.
in real time, it's 0.5 seconds. That's not a late hit. It's
no.
not.
And he was gliding. He
Yeah.
wasn't even skating. He was gliding into him.
Well, it's not worth wasting too much time, but I just want to call out idiot Rangers fans here because it's not your player, it's not any of your business. You don't have skin in this game. You're just out there screaming your little heads off from your mom's
Wilson
basement
lives in your head.
because Wilson is in your head for some transgression you allege that he did to your team a few years ago, and your team has been crap ever since.
I was gonna say it's been at least 3 years. Two
So I
years?
don't want to hear it. Okay, I don't want to hear you idiots. Your team still sucks, and you need to live with that. And it's not because of Tom Wilson; it's because your team sucks and you
Mhm.
suck. So I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, I wasn't even going to bring that up because I don't think that really changed the game in any way. But yeah, Jini, you were right. They made the right call. They called it a major to cover themselves, and then they looked at it and they examined it and decided it was a legal hit. The hit itself
Yep.
was shoulder to chest.
Yeah.
Okay, there
Right.
was zero. I repeat, zero contact to the head.
Yep.
None. There was no. I'm not going to say there was no head injury or that a concussion didn't result, but the rule states if you target the head, that is where you endure the consequences. If you target the head, that's not what happened here. There was no targeting of the head,
Mm-mm.
and it was not late enough to be construed interference. It checks
Yeah.
all those boxes. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Those are the rules as they are put down right now, pen to paper. You don't like it, don't watch the game anymore. That's all I can tell you. All right. So that ends that. And yeah, great comeback. I love to see the fight, but yeah, in the team, but way too friggin' late. And I don't know. If I'd have known it was, we were going to see something like this again, I don't know. I'd have been like, well, I hope they learn from that. Evidently they didn't.
Mm.
Okay, so moving on. And this next game is one I had the pleasure of attending myself. Ironically, as a guest of our contest winner, Robbie Gross, who decided to take me with him to our reserved club level 218 seats, courtesy of Empowering Education. In section 218 for this game is against the Seattle Kraken. And I just want to put this out there. We were like I don't know. We were like,
Johnny, Mrs. Blue Liner said you guys were like teenage girls. Was the
yeah,
quote she said.
yeah, yeah. We couldn't stop chattering about the on ice action stuff we were noticing about the game and other things. But yeah, keep a watch on Sports on the Hill tomorrow night, and you'll get a better picture of the awesome time that we had. But
Marcus and I had a great conversation with Robbie on the metro on the way home too.
I'm sure. But yeah, you that's right. You and Marcus were there too.
Yeah.
And Jini, I understand you. I don't want to get into this. I'm sure you don't want to get into it either. But I understand you were having something of a health issue that evening.
Yeah, I was sick that night, and I was like, I'm just not going to push it. So
Well, we'll have
I
to.
was like,
we'll have
of
to
all
hook
the
up
games to
sometime
miss,
soon.
though.
I know.
I hope you're feeling much better because
I
yeah,
am.
them things are no joke. Not gonna disclose, but yeah, that's what you went through. Yeah, not fun.
That stuff is no joke.
I know because I went through one myself. All right, let's run down the scoring. So it was Nick Dowd that opened the scoring at 8:30. Carlson and Duhaime the assists on that one, and up till that point, it was a massive feeling out period, and I don't want to say the action was sluggish, but I didn't see a whole lot there. It was a lot of back and forth. The most exciting thing that had happened was Ryan Leonard got his face smashed in, and it was
he was pissed.
it
Oh,
was
he
it,
was
it
angry.
it looked like a Seattle player had done it, when in actuality
Yeah.
it was friendly fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the friendly fire came from the very, very, very long stick of the very, very long Alexei Protas. And
Yeah.
so I think Protas decided to make it up to him by assisting on his goal
Yes.
at 25 seconds into the second period.
It was
And
obviously forgiven because Leonard's pointing at him going,
Oh
dude.
yeah.
So clearly see on the replay that Leonard was wearing the double the two-sided nose condom because of what had happened earlier. Faravari, the second assist on that one. And if you must find out what the hell it is I'm talking about, then watch the replay. I'm not going to explain it any further here. This turned out to be the game winner. Caps would get a power play less than a minute later. I'm not going to spoil it here, but let's just say Robbie displayed a little bit of clairvoyance here, and that's where I'm going to leave it. But yeah,
He did. I was actually filming the video board when they were announcing Ryan Leonard's goal, and then I didn't even see Chikrin. I didn't even see the score. I was filming the video board for with Ryan Leonard, them announcing Ryan Leonard's goal and stuff. It was just like, okay, completely missed Chikrin's goal. It was
not only
boom. Was that off the draw? I mean, it was like off the draw, wasn't it? Let me see.
Not quite. I will call up the replay
I
and
have the visual.
Hope the app cooperates. But
So I've got the visual. Ovi's got it. Suits it to Chikrin. Okay, no, it wasn't quite off the draw.
Yeah, so it's Chikrin, so you would think it was from the point, or at the very least from the high slot.
Yeah, Strome wins it. Ovi gets it at his office. Chikrin gets it from the top of the other circle.
Okay, right. So Chikrin actually does the reverse Ovi from yeah, basically is how that went in 133 into the second, and that would cut off the scoring there. And then I think the Caps kind of went into I can't describe it any other way, into kind of a prevent mode, I want to say, for most of the rest of the game. And it kind of bit him in the butt a little bit when Jaden Schwartz scored at 3:50 of the third period. And it was a bit pins and needles there because, sometimes, especially at home, Caps have been prone to give away leads of two or more, but they managed not to. LT did his job when he had to, stopping 18 of 19, and Tom Wilson would ice it with the empty netter. And more important than that, send the fans home happy with a something of a partial meal the next day, because it was scored in the magical Nugget minute. 19 minutes, 10 seconds of the final period. Dowd and Protas, the assists, and you got a nice free lunch. I myself, if you missed the picture posting on the Facebook page, I myself had myself a medium sweet tea and a 6-pack of said nuggets with buffalo sauce. So I had me a nice little breakfast in the middle of breakfast and lunch is called brunch. What's it called when it's in the middle of lunch and dinner?
Linner.
Lunner.
I don't know.
One of them is what I had.
Linner lupper. I don't know. Lunch and supper. Lupper.
Right. I think there's a reason that there's not a nickname for that. There's just no there's no good sounding one.
No. Yes, Marcus and I also indulged. Well, Marcus did. I had something else, but Marcus indulged as well.
Not a lot to talk about stats wise, I don't think, unless unless Jini, you saw something we didn't. A whole other kind of weird when it's when you're live and it's right in front of you.
Right?
It's a bit of a different dynamic, but when you got the advantage of having a clicker and replaying it on demand. But I mean, to me, the key to this game was the Caps winning all of their battles and protecting the middle of the ice, which is something that was totally lacking later on. We'll get to that, but yeah. Any other observations from this game?
Not really. I mean, stats wise, like, we kept them to low shots on goal. Our penalty kill was actually, I mean, they only had 2 power plays, as did we, but we didn't let them convert. So,
Right.
unlike other games, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. The penalty. Yeah. I think overall it was a very good, very complete game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was I mean, it was very close to, well, the Minnesota game too was also a very complete game. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I would say
um,
Minnesota, this one, and Blue Jackets were all much better.
yeah, one thing I will add to coaches making challenges that they probably shouldn't be making are coaches that are failing to see certain people doing things well and seemingly not rewarding them. I mean, you got a kid got 3 goals in 3 games. It's like, dude, this kid's, you know.
Well, I think part of
But
that is still we're still in the early part of the season, and
yeah,
it's
the time will come. I
The
guess
time
it's just my impatience because it's just when he's on the ice, he's so good. I want to see more of him. You know what I mean? And I get, so I understand that he's still adapting and learning and whatever. I get all that. Logically, I know that's the case.
Yeah, I
But
think
it's like it's a heart thing. You know what I mean? It's a
yeah,
heart
I
thing.
definitely get that. And I think that we're seeing him grow in confidence. I think that
Hmm.
it's been nice having his line mates shuffled a little bit because
Hmm.
I think he was held back a little bit by his line mates in the early, like the first few games.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
also think that Carbs is specifically trying not to put too much pressure on him because he wants to let him develop in a way
yeah,
that he doesn't feel like the weight of the team is on his
yeah.
shoulder. Like if you look
Right.
at season 2 Bedard and how like tense and unhappy he was, I think that
Yeah.
Carbs is specifically trying to avoid that level of gravity.
Right, and logically, I understand, like, I get all that,
Right.
and
And
it
it's
makes
hard not
perfect
to
sense,
be
and I totally get it,
impatient.
and then that's also it's part of the reason I mean, as much as I want Ovi to get a little less time in the ice, it's part of the reason I'm kinda glad he's not, because it gives Ryan time to observe and learn and what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't want the weight of the world on his shoulders. I get it. I mean, I totally get it. I understand all of that. But and I'll tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, it's a heart thing. It's
Yeah.
a heart thing. He is so good when he's on the ice. I just want more, you know.
yeah.
So
I get it. I get it. But at the same time, we have to remember. I mean, he just turned 21, if I'm not
right,
mistaken, right?
exactly. He's still a baby.
And yeah, yes, he is a high first round pick, but we don't need him to be the guy yet.
Right.
Right.
One day he will probably be the guy. One day.
Hmm.
And that day is probably going to come sooner than we know. But he
Right.
doesn't need to go out there and try to be the guy yet.
No,
So,
exactly. Oh no, I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing with you guys at all. I'm not disagreeing with you guys at all.
And
And I'm not saying that
think
Carbs is making wrong choices. It's
right.
just my
I think
head
yeah.
says one thing, my heart says something else.
Very
And
true. I
And
get that.
if Ovi was playing better, it would feel less
yeah,
that way. And like I
probably, yeah.
know like I'm definitely not jumping on the because Ovi almost always plays better in the spring than the fall. There's been multiple years where he had a slow start and then just ramped it up. So I'm definitely not like he's
Yeah,
done,
too.
but like,
No,
like
he's not.
we're
He's not
waiting to
anywhere near
see how it
done.
ramps up and he's doing his thing and I mean, of course we all hope it ramps up sooner rather than later, but
Right.
I think that when he does ramp up, we will feel that like a little bit less.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I'm with
I
you.
think so. I think so too. This whole it's not this whole issue is not as big on my mind as far as the coaching staff and their decisions as
Mm,
certain other things that they've done. But yeah, I think it bears worth discussing because yes, there's definitely some frustration out there. It's palpable. I get it,
yeah, I mean,
but
I think it just I don't think it needs to be discussed to death. I just think I just felt it just kinda needed to be addressed for those that are of the same heart space in the same heart space that I'm in. You
true.
know,
Yeah.
you want to see more of him, but you also need to understand that he is still developing, he is still very young, and we don't wanna burn him out.
Very,
So,
very true.
you know, but I think it does, there are people out there that are frustrated that he's not getting more ice time. Well, yeah, I am too, but here's why.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Right.
make it less
It'll
frustrating for me. I mean, but I get it.
it'll come. It'll come when
Course.
the time is right. And not to say, I mean, it looks right now, but looks can be deceiving.
Mm, it's still
Yeah.
So it's still,
it's still very early.
yes, it
I mean, we're
is.
not even out
And
of
we
October
need
yet,
to
so
we need to remember that. We need to keep that in mind. So, all right. So moving on to the third game of this past week. It was a quick trip over to Columbus, the capital of the state of Ohio. Um, this game was a mixed bag for me. I know we love the end result, but no scoring in the first period. And, well, all right. So let's look. It wasn't for lack of trying 12 shots, and it wasn't for lack of, well, there was also a lack of stopping the other team from trying because they got 12 shots also. Um, I, you know, I won't say this was a complete game because they shouldn't be getting that many shots to open. And I think LT, again, had it not been for him rising to the occasion, it could have been a whole other ball game. It could have been a whole other result. And then, ironically enough, so the Caps would get their first goal, the game's first goal in the second period. You want to know how many shots they got in the second period?
Mhm.
Oh,
Two. 1, 2.
Which goes to
And
show make
okay,
them count.
so what? I mean, fine, 50% scoring or shooting percentage, but
Yeah,
two,
still 2 shots is
2 shots,
that's insane.
and it was by John Carlson at 18-19, really late in the second period. So it took them a really long time to get going here. But yeah,
Once they
14th
broke the
shot of the
seal,
game.
man.
You know, so McMichael and LaPierre, the assists on that one. Good to see them getting involved, and then it really got ramped up. So Ovechkin, his second of the year, 136 in, another, well, pretty much a carbon copy of his first goal of the year. Strome wins the draw, kerboom, bullet in the net. That's it. That was it. That's exactly what happened. And this turned out to be the game winner, numero 899 for the career. Justin Surtiff, just over a minute later, his first as a Cap. Leonard, his first assist as a Cap. Logan Thompson got into the act by throwing up an up ice rush to free Leonard, who got it over to Sertif, making it 3-0 Caps. And then Columbus would get one back. Mate Chuck, his second. Sean Monahan, Dmitry Voronkov, the assist on that one at 10:20. Caps would force the Blue Jackets into power play trouble, penalty trouble. Tom Wilson, who is seemingly only one of only a few Caps allowed to score on the power play, his 5th of the year.
I know, right? We were talking
Ethan,
about the other night.
Ethan Frank and Carlson, the assists at 15:39, and then Caps would get another. Actually, I think wasn't there like a sort of a 5-on-3 situation or something like that? Is that? I need to check
I
the
don't. I
penalty.
don't.
This,
I think this was after that. I don't think
yeah.
because I know there was a 5-on-3.
Oh,
for a while
okay.
before on it.
Sorry, Jini. I know what it is. What it was it was during a 5-minute all-you-can-eat
Nature.
power play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Mathieu Olivier decided to try and pick the head of Declan Chisholm, and I don't mean ask him, stuff that you can find on Wikipedia and things like that. No, literally tried to pick the head in a check, not necessarily a chicken wing as Locker described it, but yeah, you want to see targeting of the head. This was targeting of the head, and thus worthy of the 5-minute match penalty that was doled out. This was the violation of that rule. You want to complain about hits to the head? That's what this was. This is what should be everybody clutching their pearls and getting their underwear in a bunch and reaching for the toilet paper and all that, whatever pejorative phrase you want to throw in there that I can't think of right now because I've stolen too much of my stepson's Mountain Dew and I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, this is what that rule is for or tries to prevent. Do you want to get pissed off? It's because of hits like this. But anyway, Caps earned an all-you-can-eat power play, and they bellied up to the bar twice. Second time being at 16:37, of course, during the same power play. Connor McMichael gets his first of the year from Ovechkin and Protas. So Ovechkin would get his second point. Yeah, great to see Mikey break through on that one.
Let's hope it keeps going. I mean, he's got how many assists now? Does he have 2, 3, 2? So yeah, it's good to see him starting to ramp up a bit now.
Yeah. So, great to see everybody finally getting. I think that was the great thing. I won't say this was a complete game, but the great thing was a lot more people getting involved.
You can see the chemistry starting to really come together. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you, I'm really liking Justin Sertif. I wasn't too sure about him before because I didn't know a lot about him, but I really like what I've seen so far with him.
I was about to say, I'm so happy he potted one because I have been impressed with him since game 1. He has in games where everyone else has been flagging, he has been all over trying to up the pizzazz or the zest or whatever you want to call it, the energy. So I was so happy to see him get one.
Yeah. I really like what I've seen from him so far.
Yeah.
So shots on.
When we got him, when we got him, he was coming out from injury, right?
No, he was in Florida's system, and had only been called up for like 1 or 2 games ever.
Okay.
But I think when he was called up, he did actually score or at least get a point.
Yeah.
But the scouting department really liked what they saw to the point of being willing to give up a second rounder for him and not risk sending him back through waivers and pretty much making him a lock to make the lineup. And I think you're starting to see that he's making a case that he belongs and why they went after him. So I think this is just again, broken record with just the beginning for him, and he's probably, I think he's going to be one of the cornerstone of the young players that they're developing and going to be providing some talent in the years to come. So shots on goal. Wow, this was two different games for me. Like I said, second period, 2 shots on goal. Then they decided to wake up 16 in the third period. And yeah, as we saw, several of them going in. And that's why I don't want to say the compete level was gone, but it was as if they were, something wasn't working right in the second period. And whatever adjustment was made, finally flipped the switch. Um, I don't know if the effort, I don't want to say the effort was inconsistent, but certainly the results were. And then they finally found their legs and were able to just get it together in that third period. And that was, it was a good thing to see. But they've definitely played better games, but you love to see the offensive output. So that was
Oh,
good.
yeah. And I thought this was going to be like a 2-1, 3-2 kind of game, which Columbus usually play.
Yeah, I
When we
kind of
play
thought that's
Columbus, it's
where this was
usually a
going to
lot
go.
closer than this. And it's like we broke that seal, and that was all she wrote, man.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so we've put it off for long enough. On to, well, not only the worst game of the week, but probably the worst game the Caps have played. No, definitely the worst game Caps have played this year, and probably the worst game they have played in many years.
Gonna say long
Maybe
time.
the worst one ever.
Yeah. I'm
That's
going to let you
it's
two
in the
carry
running.
this one because I wasn't there. So
Yeah. I am not. I refuse to go into a detailed scoring summary because it was a
Thank you.
7-1 loss. The only
that's all
goal
we need
worth
to know.
mentioning, and yeah, it's barely worth mentioning because it was by, of all people, Trevor Van Riemsdyk.
Right.
At
The
5 minutes,
last person I would have bet on to get one.
literally.
The last person.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk about gambling too much because, I don't want people getting into the habit, and it gets enough advertising as it is. But if you
Right.
go into any sports book and into a game and a Caps game and any time goal scorer, and they have a list of possible goal scorers, Trevor Van Riemsdyk will always be at the bottom of that list.
Right.
Well, here's a funny thing. When we were doing the Off the Chain podcast, you were the other night. I think I said that TVR was going to score in this game.
Well, I wish I had your clairvoyance because I would have made myself a
I
ton
can't
of
remember if
money.
it was this one or the Columbus game, but I think I said TVR was going to score in at least one of these games.
I wish you'd have
Oh my
told me because I'd have made myself a ton of money if I'd have known. But
Right.
my goodness, Leonard endowed the assists on that one. Obviously, a meaningless goal because and it and it, Senators weren't done because they got 2 more after that. But oh my goodness.
Maybe
Ah.
meaningless, but even I'd rather lose 7-1 than 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
There's something just so demoralizing about a shutout. So I was glad we at least got one, but I felt so bad for Chucky because he just got laid out to dry.
Oh yeah, he did.
They gave him nothing, and I mean, things are awry when Charlie Lindgren gets into a fight.
And then
Yeah.
was it Allmark comes down to join in?
Well, that
I
didn't
saw the
surprise
replay on
me.
that.
I
I was
feel
like,
like
what?
he's known for wanting to get into those fights.
Well, yeah.
He
But-
also
He doesn't wanna
did
be
that
left out.
because if the goalie's involved, then technically it's a disadvantage. I get why he did that, but and he got penalized for it, rightly so,
Yeah.
because you're not supposed to do that. But I mean, this game I think was disappointing in the fact that yes, I get it was at the back end of a back-to-back, and as we discussed to an extent in our chat room, and if you're not part of our Facebook group, please join because that gets you an invite into our chat room, which I think is one of the best team chat rooms. So you want to get involved in the discussion. We get pretty hot and heavy, but still respectful. So a A lot of that going on. You want to get in on the action. If you don't want to talk here, then be a part of the chat room for sure. But as we discussed, as I brought up there, the fact that this was a game that they had come off a road game and then they went back home. So if you either do that or it's home road on the back-to-back, you're adding travel as another dynamic to that 24-hour turnaround that makes things difficult for you to bounce back. And there's 7 more of these that the Caps have to do. So they're going to have to figure out how to suck it up and just be ready somehow for that game, because clearly they were not this game. And I want to throw a little respect to the Senators, because when it got around to the 5th and 6th goals, they weren't even celebrating. They just kept their heads down and went right to the bench. Didn't even celebrate. And it's like, okay, let's just get this game over with and nobody get hurt. So
Yeah.
So all you have to do to look at the final conclusive evidence that there was no way this team was ready to play this game. Yes, I'm going to be a broken record here. The shot totals per period.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You're
I mean,
going to want to invoke some sort of higher power when you look at these, because you're not going to believe it.
It was funny how he had named the only man who could save him now.
Here we go.
Yeah.
First period, 3. I'm not kidding. 3, as in 1, 2, 3. 3.
Yeah.
That's how many shots they had in that period. 3. All right. Second period happens. You want a better effort. How many shots you get on goal?
3.
3.
But what was even, I can't say better, but they had 4 goals at one point when we had 3 shots on goal at the beginning of the second period.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They had more goals than we had shots on goal. That is
embarrassing.
Yeah. That's a good word. Mind-blowing, flabbergasting, all those things.
And look, first period, I'll give them credit. There were a lot of Paul missed the net shots, a lot of blocked shots, and then the effort just went off a cliff. After that first period. And there was something that happened in this game that had happened in an earlier game that we're going to talk about. But we're gonna put ourselves out of our misery here and end the game recaps. I mean, you all know what happened. It was a horrible game. So I think we're gonna kill it here and move on. But before we do,
this game will be like Voldemort. We never speak, or Fight Club. We never speak of it.
True enough. But we must remember our partner for this year, Empowering Education. So I'd like to say a few words about them real quick before we move on. So the idea is to empower your young person, son or daughter of high school age especially, for financial success and readiness. Well, that's what Empowering Education is all about. They had begun several years ago as a Kentucky-based nonprofit, and they're bringing their financial literacy and career development tools and classes to the next generation. Our holistic approach goes beyond money management, offering access to education, funding. So whether or not you want to learn a trade or go on to college, job training, and other practical skills, and mental health to set students up for a brighter future. The plan is this January, we're expanding into the DMV with a starter program that's all online based out of Baltimore City. and due to expand all throughout the DMV location. So watch for that. Don't miss your chance to give your kids the tools they need to thrive. Parents, you can reach out to our founder, Audie Wood, who is a member of our Facebook group. If you're curious, I can give you his contact information. You want to secure a spot in our 8-week course, contact him. He'll set you up. Empower your child, empower their future. That's what they're here to do. You want to talk results? 91% of the students in the initial pilot program in Kentucky successfully graduated and completed it. These were youths at risk of incarceration. Today, they're rewriting their own stories, pursuing trade schools or community colleges, building productive lives. Even better, empowering education isn't just transforming lives, it's saving taxpayers money. How? Because instead of paying for these kids going to prison and their living costs there, they're being taught to work within the system and not to be a burden on the system. They learn the value of the things like budgeting and keeping good credit and how to manage your money even during stressful times and how to look for jobs that match your skill set. Wonderful things like that that help make you a productive citizen. So if they're contributing to the economy, isn't it worth it to invest in this program? Isn't it worth it to put your young person through it so that they can appreciate how our economy works? Hell, I would have loved to have something like this when I was in school. So once again, empower your child, empower their future with empowering education. Contact myself or Audie Wood if you want more information on our future plans for class availability. Okay, and with that, we're going to move on. Okay, so as I said, something happened in this past game that happened in another game. And I get that there's 3 of us here, and you on the other side, the speakers, the earbuds, what have you, are probably sick of me talking by now. And I get that. Low this 290 something episode, but you know what? Put 5 minutes on the clock. I am going to talk a major power play here. I'm going to try and make it not that much, but I have something I've been wanting to point out for a while because it actually started, pardon me, in the preseason. Spencer Carbery, I am looking at you. I have loved for the most part what you have done with this team. You transformed it from a directionless team to one that competes hard most nights and plays as a team. But there's something you've been doing lately, and I think you've been doing it for the wrong reasons. What I'm talking about is challenging goals that go against you. I think we've gotten to the point and we figured out that there's no sense, there's no reason to challenge the league because it seems like they have an agenda against us. I don't know why. But unless you actually see a benefit to it, I don't think you should be challenging the goals, and I think you're doing it for the wrong reason. I think much like a gambler chases a lost wager, I think you're chasing a lost goal. I think the challenge that you made last night was for no other reason. I know what you said, and I will quote you. We felt like the odds of getting it right were probably slim, so you already knew that. But judging by the way that our group looked, I felt like we needed to keep the game 1-0, so it was worth a shot not to go down 2-0. With how we looked, I thought it was going to be a difficult hole to climb out of, end quote. Spencer, you made already a bad situation, worse by knowingly putting your team in a hole. And let's face it, the PK stinks this year. Maybe they're just finding their footing. I get that, but you knew that. You knew they were, they didn't have the legs. You knew they were tired. How in your right mind could you think this was going to provide a spark? You're thinking you're sticking up for your team. You're putting him in a worse position. How does that help your team? It doesn't. You're chasing a loss. Just some things you have to accept that are out of your control and just move on. You want to light a fire on your team? Use that timeout that you lost as a result of exploring this and lay into your team. Remind them what they're playing for. Remind them that they're not doing their job. That's what a timeout is for. It's not for this crap. And dare I say, you know what? I think the league is eventually going to come to a rule that says, you know what? You can't use your timeout to review a disputed call. You let your video coaches review a disputed call. And it's going to be because of you, Spencer, that they rule on this. And I would agree with them. That's not what your timeout is for. Don't use it for that. Your guys, I get the guys needed a break anyway, but this is not the way to go about it. You're chasing, not unlike the players, you're chasing the game when you should be planning on next shift being better and the shift after that and the shift after that. That's what it's all about, Spencer. So I'm begging you, no more challenges, no more wasting your time out. Please stop. It doesn't do the team any good. It doesn't make you look any better. And by the way, look on social media. I'm not the only one saying this, but please, Spencer, you want to keep the respect that you've earned. That's been hard earned for you. This isn't the way. All right, just you want to beat the other team. It's not going to be through the replay booth. It's going to be through the chalkboard. It's going to be through your brain. It's going to be on the ice. Not this way. That's all I'm asking. All right. And that's all I got to say about that.
I'll second it.
I absolutely adore carbs. I hate to say anything. I hated that challenge so much. I hated it.
I hated it last night, and I hated the other one.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary. Neither was the one in Vancouver. Right. And both times, I mean, okay, obviously last night, no, they weren't coming back. But the one against Vancouver,
if they hadn't had that, we would have gone to OT.
They would have at least probably gotten a standings point out of it. And you never know. I don't want to take him too much to task, but I think another part of it is ego. He's thinking, okay, I'm smarter than the league. I'm smarter than everybody here. I know better. I'm gonna go after it. And I don't know. I'm not calling him a liar, but I don't know that I believe him when he says it's to light a spark under the team, because it did the exact opposite, and he had to have known that. And I just, I would rather have the moral high ground of saying, okay, you know what, the league is screwing us, and we knew better, and just take the call and move on and just make the rest of the game as best, play the rest of the game as best as we can. And that's what I want to see from this team. You take that energy and turn it into an us against the world mentality and just play better the rest of the game. That's where you got to go with that. That's the energy you got to bring. Not this, oh, I'm going to use the system to my advantage. No. And, then, that's a loser's mentality.
And the thing is, I understand the frustration. We are not alone. The Caps fan base, every single team's fan base hates the goalie interference because nobody knows how and when it's going to be applied. One time you breathe on a goalie and the goal's disallowed. The next time they get plowed into, and it's so inconsistent. But the thing is, when we rail against it, all we do is beat our heads against a wall.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It sucks. It's inconsistent for everybody. And the more you watch, because hockey, there's a lot of games. A lot of people don't watch any teams but their teams. And when you only watch Caps games, it's easy to say, they hate us, they always rule against us, which feels like it's very true. But I think some of it is when we are choosing to challenge and like we're losing challenges that shouldn't have been challenged. And so that's part of it. But like there is just inconsistency, and we just have to suck it up and keep playing instead of wasting time and energy fighting what has already happened.
And if you put that energy into playing better and outplaying the team, then you create chances where okay, the call goes with you, not against you.
Yes. Yes. And as multiple games that we've played, multiple games that happened during last postseason, not even Caps games, but like there are multiple games where it looked 3 minutes from the end that one team, there's no way the other team's going to come back. And then was it it was the Blues game where they scored 3 in the last 3 minutes, and one of them was like with 0.2 seconds. It was like insane. So we just need to realize that the only way to get through it is to keep fighting, but fight on the ice, not fight with the refs.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because if you fight with the refs, all you're going to do is piss them off anyway.
And it sends the wrong message. It
Yes.
really does. It
Yes.
doesn't send the message that, hey, I'm with you guys. It sends the message that I don't trust you guys. I'm going to use the legalities and the technicalities to fight this. That's the message that it sends. Doesn't send the message, hey boys, I trust you to get us out of this. That's not the message that was being sent here at all. That's the point that's the point we're all trying to make here. So
Right.
okay, so I mean, didn't want to spend too much time on that, but you know what? I think it had to be said because it's a trend. I mean, twice in 1 week, for crying out loud. I mean, come on. We're better than that. We are.
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah,
okay.
like you said, put it out on the ice, leave it on the ice. That's where it belongs.
Right.
And you know.
So C4, I understand you could not see this game, but there was a very good reason why you could not see this game. It is because you kidnapped my wife and took her to Hershey to see the Bears game that they were playing that the very same night, very same time. So since you obviously couldn't report on this game, which I think you lucked out. If we could have you,
I saw.
yeah, if we could have you report on the prospects that were in last night's game that the Bears played against Lehigh Valley, not necessarily the results. And if anybody's curious, it was a 4-3, 3-2 win in the shootout.
4-3 in the shootout. Baby Pro got the shootout, the game-winning goal in the shootout. So the two I kind of really wanted to see weren't playing last night. Rabinski and Chesley were not playing, and Miro, I think, is injured, so he's not been playing for a while yet. But Crystal played, and of course Baby Pro played. Crystal looks like he's getting better. He's getting more comfortable. When we saw him a couple of weeks ago, he was still looked like he was trying to find his way. He did get his first goal on the power play last night, so that was very exciting to see. And I'll tell you, Baby Pro is a tough cookie. He got smacked into the walls by another player named Wilson, Garrett Wilson from the Phantoms. There was no call. The fans were quite upset about that. I haven't seen a replay, so I don't know if there was a reason for no call. AHL games, it's very hard to find replays of some of these things. And they didn't show it on the overhead, so I don't know why there was no call. But it looked like it looked like it should have been a boarding call from where we were sitting. He looked very woozy when he went off the ice, but he came back out, and he actually, there's a quote, he said, he said, they're a pretty tough team. They're always finishing checks and plays hard. So we were kind of ready for it. And it was a tough game. We battled through and found our way to win and did a great job overall. It hurt real bad after I got hit right away. But after I came to the room and had that intermission, it helped me a lot to kind of rest and get back full recovery. The trainers helped during intermission. I put some ice and felt great afterwards. And he looked pretty good after. I mean, he started off a little slow when he came back on the ice, but he had that beautiful shootout goal. I think I posted it in the chat. He's a tough cookie. And then y'all were talking about Strome got hurt and who they would bring up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not
glossed
sure
over that.
Crystal. Yeah, I'm not sure Crystal's quite ready. Y'all may not have much. We may not have much choice but to call Frank up. Honestly, I'd like to see Rubinski be given a chance, but again, I don't think he's ready either.
I would like to see either Rubinski, since I'm pretty sure he's a center and Strome is a center.
Let me see here. Oh, wait, he didn't play last night. Let me get to the roster.
Him or Trineyev. I would like to see either one of them get a chance.
Yeah, Trineyev did really well last night. He had a goal last night. Yeah, he had a goal last night. He's a winger though. He's not a center.
I don't want to. I don't want to. Well, I am down on this guy. I don't want to sound like it, but I might as well call a spade a spade. I'm more than a little tired of them sending up Ethan Frank up, and then
Rubinski is a center.
Yeah, so I think it's about time somebody else besides
and he's
Ethan
got
Frank gets
2
a
goals and 2 assists on the year. So I didn't realize Rubinski had been with the I didn't realize he'd been with the Bears for so long. For some reason I thought this was only his second year, but he's been here since 2022.
Yeah, I think he deserves a shot.
I'd like to see him given a chance.
Somebody who hasn't gotten a shot yet get a shot.
Think he looked pretty good. I mean, he was up in camp, and I think he looked pretty good in camp.
Yeah.
Maybe give Rubinski a shot because he is a center. Frank is not a center, and if our center is down, and you've got, let's see, Protas plays center, Protas, Dowd, and McMichael. I guess LaPierre could in a pinch, but who would you?
McMichael and LaPierre. I mean, if they had to call up another winger, then yeah, they could move McMichael into center and LaPierre into another. Dubois plays center too, so you probably move him up and then McMichael into the second line.
Dubois on the first line, McMichael on the second. But yeah, I'd like to see Rubinski given a chance. But
yeah, anybody else.
Yeah, Frank he just doesn't do it for me.
I think Frank has had that level about as many chances. He's a great player, but I think at this point he's proven that he's not much more than an AHL lifer at this point.
Yeah.
So I really want to see somebody else get that shot and see what they can do.
Yeah.
So.
I do agree. I was so psyched when he first came up last year. He came out guns blazing. He did great, but we haven't seen that fire or that production since. And he's speedy, but speed doesn't do anything if you're not going to do something with it.
And that's exactly what's been wrong with his game. It's not.
Yeah.
It's like he's not putting himself in the right position to be productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rubinski had a pretty solid year last year. He had 10 goals in 60 games, 25 assists. He was a plus 11 last year. So, I mean, he's been pretty solid. So I would like to see him given a chance.
Yeah. Just notes of previews to come. Speaking of which, so next week, this is what we can expect for the schedule. A little bit friendlier, a lot of bit friendlier. Although now that I'm looking, there is one back-to-back, but at least there's 2 days off beforehand. So next Tuesday is the next game. They go back on the road out to Big D against the Dallas Stars. That is an 8:30 puck drop out there. And then 2 days off, and then they come back home for a Friday night tilt, 7:00 puck drop against the Islanders.
On Halloween.
On Halloween night. Yes, that is true.
So I will be going to that game, and I have an eagle costume. So I'm gonna need to go early and see if I can find Slapshot because
Bring back a
Yes,
pick, whether even if it's just you, but
absolutely.
you and Slapshot, that would be awesome.
Right?
That'd be
Like,
fantastic.
yeah. And I have to say, I feel better about the back-to-back where the first game is at home and the second game is away,
Yeah,
especially considering that so far we've won all our away games.
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah. Didn't expect to be so
I,
at
I
home,
feel
but
like it was lopsided that way last year too.
yeah.
Yeah.
For some
Like
reason, they play better on the road. Go figure.
yeah,
Well, the next one's even more fun that we play the Oilers at home, then we go up to Canucks.
Oh, yay. That's not for another month.
Oh no, that's 2 weeks
oh, no,
after the
no,
next back to back.
it's Oilers then Montreal, not
Oilers in
Canucks.
Montreal, sorry, not
Yeah.
Vancouver.
Oh
Canadians.
yeah.
Sorry, I was
Oh,
looking at
lovely.
yeah. Oilers at
But
home, Canadians in Montreal.
the second, yeah. So the second back to back, and it is a road game. It's shuffling off up to Buffalo.
Yep.
Against the Sabres. That's a 7 o'clock puck drop there. So another back to back. That's a home road. Well, this time it's a home road. So got to
Mhm.
see how they do there. See if they learned anything from this go around.
Mhm.
And then they're off. Then they're off for 3 days. So our next uh, broadcast, our next recording, will be November the 2nd, and it will feature the season debut of the Mermaid. Yes, Anna will be
Yay.
back by then. She will be
Yay.
back from her marching band mom duties at that point. So you ladies are both have earned yourselves at least a 1 week vacation.
Excellent.
So she'll be taking the microphone at that point, and I'm sure she has a lot to say that she hasn't been able to say yet. So there will be that. And I'm sure Anna's fans out there will be anticipating that what she has to say of as far as what she's seen, and she's seen a few things. So I'm sure she's going to let loose, and I'm going to have yeah, a nice little time on the beat button and cover all of because she got herself a potty mouth, um
Yes.
especially when she gets pissed off. um
Yes.
so
Or
we'll
passionate.
see. Or we will see about that, but always fun to hear her take. So yes, you will finally get to hear that if you've been missing that. Not that you guys haven't done a wonderful job.
Oh, no,
Thanks
no offense taken at all.
thanks
Well,
both
what
of
I
you.
find interesting is it takes two of us to replace one of hers. So there we go.
Well, I mean, the
I'm not
more the
offended by
merrier.
that at all. I think it's fantastic.
The more the merrier is what I always say. And since you were both available, I figure have you both on. I knew you both had a lot to say, and especially Cheryl, since you were at the Hershey game, so wanted your input on that. But yeah, great to have you both. I'm more than certain this isn't the last we'll be hearing of you. I'm sure you'll be with us some more down the road. It's a long season, so I'm sure. So keep up the good work, ladies. And thank you all so much. You out there in the DMV, whether you be in the state of Maryland, Commonwealth of Virginia, or the District of Columbia, of course, and the anywhere else for that matter. We have fans overseas. Shout out to Mr. Grant Green, all the way from Kirkcaldy, Fife, Scotland. Thank you
Yes.
for all you do, sir. Uh, but yeah, I just want to give a shout out to him and his wife, Megan. Thank you so much for all your kind words about the show. So we're going to wrap it up here for another week. Thank you all so much for listening. If you haven't already, please tell another Caps fan you love about us. Download and subscribe. We're looking to get more of you into the family here and get the word out about empowering Ed and about the Caps in general. Thank you so much. So, for Miss Gin Dependent, Jini Clausen, and C4, Cheryla Forster, this is the Blue Liner on Point, signing off and reminding you that, well, this morning I saw a guy dragging a clam on a leash. And I'm no trainer. I'm no athletic trainer. I don't have much experience in that. But I thought to myself, it must be hard to walk with a pulled muscle.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Hallelujah, and let's go Caps.
Let's go, Caps.
This has been another episode of the PowerPlay Point Podcast. All episodes are available from Apple Podcast, the Podbean app, blueliner77.podbean.com, and now available from Stitcher. Music by Joe McAllister, voiceover by Jeffrey Conkle.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, PowerPlay Point Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Was that Marcus throwing up in the background?
He's coughing. He's not feeling well.
It's like, okay, that was I get there was a really bad joke, but I didn't think it was that bad.
You can edit
you know
that
it's
out if
bad
you
when
can.
someone not on the call throws up about it.